a few months ago, I was on a podcast and they had an advocate for survivors of human trafficking. But then she started explaining like that it's mostly labor and like what it actually is. And I was like, hundo P, I was human trafficked.
Kate Herman, right in the studio. Good to see you. Yes, put on those headphones. So the this thing goes back and forth. Say hello.
Hello.
But not up and down.
Oh.
All right.
Okay.
Kate, what's up? New York Black. Good to see you.
Yeah, well.
You know what? It's a very model and comedian thing to do. The all black, right? And New York.
Yeah.
Right? You know what I'm saying?
I'm not the most creative when it comes to clothing. I like to think of myself as like, well, because like I heard like Albert Einstein wore the same thing every day, so he wouldn't have to think about what to wear.
And that's like Steve Jobs did that too.
Yeah.
So you consider yourself a visionary.
Well, genius, but yeah, sure. Visionary.
A genius, visionary, same thing. But you and I spoke briefly about you growing up. You grew up in New York City, right?
Well, yeah, in between here and Connecticut. Okay. So like I went to high school in Connecticut.
Where in Connecticut did you go to high school?
In Avon, which is outside of Hartford. Okay,
they had a really good high school soccer team.
They did.
Correct? Isn't that really weird that I know that?
It is really weird that you know that.
But I'll piggyback off that. I went to UConn, so there were a lot of kids that went to Avon and then played soccer at UConn, because UConn was #1 in the country when I went there in soccer.
Yeah, UConn was like our professional sports team in Connecticut.
Yeah. Did you go to a lot of basketball games?
No.
Why not? If it was a professional sports team.
Because Connecticut, it's small, but it still takes a while, especially to get to stores.
Yeah,
like
and also Hartford too, I'm sure, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, I guess they play in Hartford.
Yeah, at the XL Center.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I went to a few, I guess. I went to like a normal amount, like how people might go to like a Knicks game.
But you yourself, you're a podcaster, comedian, and are you still modeling or no?
Yeah, I'm still fooling people sometimes.
Okay. Well, I would think that since you are very interested in like sports, that you would have maybe, I don't know, like the women's Huskies basketball team, men's Huskies when you were growing up. No?
Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I am like into, I guess it's just more so like I was a theater kid. You know what I mean? I was like always like in a rehearsal. I don't know. But like that, I definitely like went to games as a kid.
Did you play high school sports or no?
No, I would manage the baseball team. So that was fun. And then I played like a season of everything, but I'm just not, I think I love sports because it's so impressive to me, like how gymnastics is on the Olympics, where it's like, oh my God, like that's amazing, like it's just feats of athleticism are crazy. Like I love football.
Impressive to you? Yeah. What's your favorite football team right now?
I mean, I'm a Bills fan because I'm a Stefan Diggs fan. Okay. So I followed him from the Vikings.
Yeah, I was going to ask, so you were a Minnesota Vikings fan before that?
For a minute when he did that, Miracle in Minnesota catch, and I went from like not in the money to in the top 10 in fantasy. It was
what was the catch?
It was like a 74-yard touchdown pass in like the final seconds of the game. Like there were like 3 seconds.
It was playoffs or regular season?
Playoffs.
Oh, okay. I guess.
Or maybe to make it to the playoffs.
Theoretically, I should know about that. Oh, okay. I've been a Jets fan for the most part my whole life. I had a few years where I was like, all right, should I root for the Giants since they won the Super Bowl? But being a Jets fan, as you know, since you pay attention to football, it's been difficult for us for a very long time. But MetLife Stadium is going to be hosting the 2026 FIFA World Cup Finals. I don't know if you guys saw that or you saw that. I think we got a little bit of work to do around the stadium to impress people who are coming in from other countries. You know what I mean?
I don't really think it's World's Fair ready.
Yeah. I don't even know where people would stay in that immediate area. I would think that a lot of people would stay in East Rutherford, like in hotels around there where the football teams would stay, but you can't really stay in Manhattan if you're going to, like if you're playing in the World Cup. It's just not close enough. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I feel like the urban planners that designed that regret not having a more direct shuttle route.
Yeah, we'll see. I think that they'll probably figure out something. They got to.
It means that we'll have one eventually. You know what I mean? Like it's kind of like why I like when big events come. Like I lived in LA for a minute, and now that they're doing the Olympics, it's like, you get all like the new stuff, right?
What were you doing out there in LA?
That was a random decision after the second time I dropped out of college, and then I was modeling and acting out there as for you.
Where'd you go to college?
UNC Charlotte.
Okay, and you dropped out of UNC Charlotte and then went to another college?
No, I went back to UNC Charlotte.
How long did you take off?
It was like a year
initially.
and a half.
Okay, so you took off a year and a half after your freshman year, or what?
It was, I did freshman, sophomore, and then like a summer. And then left.
Did you have to reapply to get back in?
Yeah, I did. And I had to beg, and because I didn't do anything properly. I just stopped going. I didn't like tell anybody. I was just like, oh, I'm going to do this now.
But that was at the end of your junior year you did that, or end of sophomore year?
Sophomore year.
And they were like sending you emails, sending you letters like, hey, what classes are you going to take for your third year? And you just didn't respond?
Yeah. Like, I mean,
That's
and it was, yeah, I don't know. But then I wanted to go back, and I was in the philosophy department, and I had to like meet with the, head of the department, and then I had to like write a bunch of essays. I worked harder to get back in than I ever did any of the times that I went there.
Why did you want to go back to UNC Charlotte though? Did you need more credits if you were to go to other colleges?
I didn't even look at I was just like, I always go back to like what I know, like why'd I go to a different school?
Well, how long were you in LA for?
Plus, I wasn't sure if I could actually get into. I mean, I didn't do great. You know what I mean?
You like were concerned that you couldn't get into school in like Connecticut or what?
I don't know. I didn't even think about. I guess I wasn't. This is more in hindsight. I guess I was like, I wonder if I could have, because like I had good grades in my major, but then like I took Latin, which I had taken my entire life, and Latin's like a finite language, so there you don't learn more. You just like. After a while, you're just like, this is an easy A class. But this professor wanted us to do accent marks, and I'm a stubborn, and I was like, well, you don't speak it.
Yeah, I was going to ask.
You don't need accent marks. And so I just like refused to do them, and I got it, like I failed the class. Like I know, you know what I mean? Like I failed the class just because I was a dick.
Because of accent marks.
It was like stubbornness and like thing. You know what I mean? I was an idiot. I was like so stupid. When
I remember in middle school, I got exempt from Latin because it was like too difficult. The kids who were doing poorly in school didn't have to take Latin. They would just have to take Spanish, but then like half of the kids had to take Latin. I don't even know if they're teaching that anymore in school curriculums. As you know, schools, do their best when they teach kids that things that don't even matter in society. Mm-hmm. So I imagine they might actually still teach Latin, but like, what a weird thing to have taught in an American school, don't you think?
I mean, Latin is the root of all of the Romance languages. So there's like a lot of words.
What do you mean Romance languages? Like French,
Italian, English.
Italian's a romantic language. Mm-hmm. What's considered romantic? I guess it's just from Rome.
It's just like that no, it's no, I mean it's pretty much like the like Western style, like things that started as Latin and then like went off, because there was Greek and there's Latin, right? Yeah. And those are like kind of the two ones. And so Latin went that way and Greek went to Russia. I don't know.
How was your experience in LA?
Oh my God. I loved it when I first got there.
Oh, well, how long did that last though? Your love of it when you first got there?
Probably like, I probably made it like a good like 4 or 5 years of like,
oh wow,
I like it.
Okay.
And then the last like couple, I was like, I'll kill myself.
Why?
I don't know. I just got like, it started to make me really depressed, because it was, it's like the classic things of like when it's sunny all the time, but like you don't have anything to do like every day, and like you don't have the same thing here. Like here I can entertain myself just by, I'll just like, oh, I'll go for a walk. And that's enough to quiet some of the voices, Like there it was like, I don't want to drive somewhere. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you don't even know where to drive. You're like, should I go to CVS, Sprouts?
Yeah, exactly,
like,
right?
What's the deal?
Like seriously,
browse the aisles of CVS.
I just need a destination.
And I think also, correct me if I'm wrong, seeing a lot of people just being in New York, like you go outside and you're like, I don't know where to go. And you just walk for a mile or whatever it is. You see people and it just kind of makes you feel a little bit better, right?
Yeah.
And in LA, you can't really do that, especially if unless you live on whatever it is, if you live on Melrose or you live on a street that's densely populated with a lot of shopping and restaurants, then you could do that and you walk and you see a lot of people. But almost everywhere in the United States, besides New York City, if you walk, it's going to take you a little bit before you see another human.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I feel like if you live in the suburbs, like I have it in my head, like murder shows that I watch that are like, you know, and like take place, there's neighbors everywhere, you know, like having like those neighbor vibes.
What about the murder shows though?
Well, because they're always asking the neighbors and like, they're like, oh, can we see your Ring camera? You know what I mean? Like I have this idea like that there's like a barbecue every week, you know what I mean? That like, you know, like they have these communities that like, you know.
So what murder documentaries, like a Ted Bundy thing or what?
No, I have quite a few.
What's your favorite? Tough question. Do you like First 48? Like the reality kind of murder shows?
I don't love like the First 48 only because of I like a more like meaty story thing, not just like the you know, like the quick cut ones. So I like Datelin's like very like easy listening murder. You know what I mean? Like it's just, you know, chill, especially if you get like a Keith one. You know what I mean?
What's that?
Keith Morrison.
Okay.
He's like one of the hosts
guy?
of it. Yeah, okay. Yeah. And he's amazing. And then if you want to go really dark, I love Evil Lives Here. Like that might be the darkest one that I watch. I've shown people and I'm like, oh my God, there's a new episode of Evil Lives Here. And they're like, how do you, like, why are you watching this?
Oh, they can't handle it?
Yeah. I mean, some of them even I'm like, oh, well.
Yeah, I don't like scary movies or horror stuff. I just get spooked out. Did you ever listen to the podcast? Was it Serial?
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm talking about? What was it with Adnan Syed?
Yeah.
And it's this guy's in jail and he supposedly in high school potentially killed his high school classmate and he's been in jail for 40 years and they made a podcast about it. But go ahead, you can explain it further if I miss anything kind of.
No, I think you did I think that's a
good summary of it.
Yeah.
It was so interesting. Just I can understand why people like these documentaries or podcast types that leave you hanging on the edge and then they have this music and it's a little bit spooky and it's a mystery because we all like mysteries as a human.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? All right. So how did you get from LA modeling over there to doing comedy? Were you doing comedy out in LA also or no?
No, I started. So then I came back here and I was like going back and forth and then I was doing acting and stuff out there and I was like bringing it back over here, but I was like, I'm tired of waiting for people like all the time.
And that's a big part of acting, right?
Yeah. So
waiting on roles.
I was like, I'm just going to go do this. But the thing that's different that, I mean, I don't want to sound like I'm like talking shit, whatever, but like, or like that I'm great. But like when I would go back to LA, it's more like I never was like, oh, like an actor do it. You know what I mean? It was never like, oh, because I want to do a TV show. Do you know? Like, because I feel like sometimes I'll watch actors do stand up and it's just therapy.
How do you mean?
I don't know.
Like they're talking about like using the audience as a therapist, you mean?
Kind of, yeah. It's like less, it's like more like monologue-y and less like joke. I don't know. Not that there's anything wrong with that.
And like, are you still signed with Ford Models?
No, I left them a little while ago and went to New York Models. And then my agent from New York Models, because all the Ford agents went to New York Models, my agent went to State, and so I followed her over. So I almost State. Was
that like a big dramatic thing when all those people when all the agents went to New York Models?
It happens a lot, but for me personally, I'd kind of left Ford in like a fiery.
Oh, okay. You're pissed.
Yeah.
So I, in the past, have had relationships with a couple models, and one of them lived in a model's apartment. Did you ever live in a model's apartment?
I did.
Okay. For those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, I'm sure Kate will do a great job explaining, but these model apartments, and especially in New York, I can imagine it's pretty tight quarters, maybe 2 bunk beds per room and 8 girls in a 1-bedroom apartment. Is that kind of the situation still in modeling like that?
I mean, I can't say still. I can say like the 100 years ago when I did do this. So when I did this for like a year because I just didn't want to pay rent. And I really thought I was a genius. Like I was like, I figured out the hack of hacks, you know?
Well, wouldn't they take the rent out of your paycheck?
Yeah. But I also was like into like doing drugs and going to the Lower East Side and like wearing American Apparel and glitter. And like wasn't totally the most focused on my career at this point. I was probably like, I think I was like 18. And so
So young.
But so then I figured out that I would just like sign with like this like D-list agency or whatever and live in the model department. And after 3 months, they kind of like, if you don't work, then they kick you out. You know what I mean? Because it's a racket. But I didn't care because I was like, whatever. And then I just like go to different ones, and then I went to Europe and I did that there. And I was like, I'm the smartest person that lived. And true story, like a few months ago, I was on a podcast and they had a person that is like an advocate for survivors of human trafficking and not an advocate for human trafficking, which is what I said over and over. But she was like, because they were like, oh, Kate, you did modeling. Like, and I was like, no, I was never human trafficked, whatever. But then she started explaining like that it's mostly labor and like what it actually is. And I was like, hundo P, I was human trafficked. Had no idea. Like I would just like go, I would do like some jobs I expected not to get paid because of like how they collect fees and like everything like that. And so I just like, I didn't care. I was just like going around and like living and and I was like, I'm a genius. And it turns out I'm a victim.
I wonder if us comedians are being human trafficked, working for free. But wait, to get back, you were saying, why did you think you were so smart? And then I want to elaborate on the human trafficking.
Because I didn't.
You were like, I can live for free. I don't need to work.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's get back to what you were just talking about, though. I obviously know that the industry, the modeling industry, people in higher positions, this happens in acting too, would take advantage of their power position. Was this something that you and girls who you were working with saw pretty frequently, being in New York or being in Europe?
I didn't. I had a pretty decent experience. I also, because I'd grown up in theater, like had total love of the word no. Like, you know, like I kind of like had that from when just like you learn, like if this makes you uncomfortable, you say no. You know what I mean? If this something doesn't seem right, you say no. I'm like, yeah. So like anytime that like, I'm sure like there's like, I was in like a position that I didn't even realize because I was just like, no, I'm good. You know what I mean? Or like, no, I don't want to do that. You know, I don't know.
Yeah. Being a female in that industry, it's got to be so difficult. You know what I mean? Like you have to really keep your guard up all the time. And also I had Mario Adrian. You ever hear of him? He's a model who's now gotten into stand-up comedy. And he was saying that there was a lot of that also in the male industry too.
I feel like it's almost worse. I mean, I don't know what's worse, but I hear like a lot of, like I know a lot of like dudes who have like horror stories. I know a lot of girls who have horror stories, you know, too. But like, it is surprising like how many dudes are like, this happened.
But is it mostly from managers, photographers, people who hold the keys to big companies who would hire people? Is it like a specific type of person to look out for or no?
I mean, it can be anybody who has like the power to like, or the perceived power to make something happen, I guess. Because I've heard about it from like all different, you know, types. But yeah, I didn't really like, I was lucky, I guess, or just stupid.
But some people who you were working with were just working for free and weren't paying attention to their paycheck. And is that kind of another form of what the advocate was saying?
Nobody was working for free. Like, you know what I mean? Like I never worked for free, but in terms of like when I would go abroad, right? Like I would book a job that paid, you know, 2,000 euro or something like that.
And then your agent and manager, then you get whatever's left.
Yeah. Or like when cause like then you're paying, so like they would charge like every girl something like, you know, like 17 grand a month to like live in, you know what I mean? Like everyone. And it's, you know what I mean? Like absurd fees, absurd thing, you know what I mean? So essentially your balance is always.
So like you're living in a bunk bed with 3 other women in a room, in a small room, and you're getting charged $1,500 for rent, which is unreasonable, right? Yeah. Something like that.
Yeah. I mean, and also like a lot of times it was like loft spaces. But there would be like one bathroom, which is like impossible.
How do you mean loft spaces? Like curtains in between beds?
Yeah, like, you know, like those like walls that you can put and like then they'd make like rooms. But it was like...
Or they like put up drywall and separate it, kind of?
Not even drywall. They have like those, you know, they sell them for things, you know? They're like walls that are sturdy and like they're walls, but they're, you know, you can...
Like one of those bamboo Japanese things?
Like there's...
Just basically not, but not a proper wall, theoretically. They would just try and put as many people in one apartment.
Yeah. I think the most I was ever in was like, I think there were like 12 girls once in the one in New York. And it was like during Fashion Week. But that's like at the height of things. But it was so, yeah.
In a one bedroom?
It's not a one, because it'd be like this.
Wait, sorry,
like
disregard that question. Like you were about to say anything. You were about to say something before I interrupted you.
Oh, I don't know. I was probably just having like an nostalgic.
I know I know. I wanted that. That's what we wanted here. But that's no, it's okay. My bad. But that's nuts. So what made you get into modeling in general? Did somebody scout you? Did you go to auditions? Like what was the story?
No, I got scouted.
And what does that entail?
I was 13 and I took a surf lesson in La Jolla when I went to go visit my cousin, and the surf company was next to a modeling agency called Jet Set. That was it. And then they were like, can we take a picture? And my cousin was like, I don't know, I'm not her parent. And like everybody was pretty against me like getting into modeling. You know what I mean? Like,
your family and friends, you mean?
Well, just like, I mean, my cousin she worked in entertainment, so she kind of was like, not the best industry. And then my parents were just like, we're busy. We don't care. But so then, and then I booked a job like 6 months later. In
New York or in La Jolla, San Diego?
And it was out of New York. It was for Abercrombie Kids. So we shot in Key West.
Abercrombie had that documentary that came out on Hulu.
Yeah.
Which was basically talking about, I guess it was the main photographer, Bruce Weber.
That's who I shot with.
Can we talk about that a little bit?
I was like a kid. I was like pretty, we didn't have any like weird shit on our set. But I do remember them talking about, like, the people that worked on the set talking about how the next week was going to be, like, the adults, which was, like, they're, like, it's, like, like, porny and da-da-da-da.
What do you mean with the adults? What do you mean?
Well, because I was in, the kids part.
Yeah, and he got weird with the boys more so, the guys more so, or no?
I didn't notice anything. I never saw anything weird.
Yeah.
And nobody, like, it
was, like, taboo to talk about?
It wasn't even like it was taboo to talk about. It was just like I went there and I did my job and I didn't think anything of it. Like nobody was like weird. Like there was no like anything when I was there. But I do remember hearing them talking about like, they're like, oh yeah, like next week's like whatever. Like I forgot what they use, like they're like XXX or something. I don't know, something stupid.
When I was 18 years old, my girlfriend at the time, started working at Hollister as a summer job, and they offered her $3 extra an hour to stand outside of Hollister wearing a bikini top and just going, "Hey, what's up?" And she asked me like if I was cool with it. I was like, no, I'm not okay with that. You're just standing outside in Soho going, hey, what's up?
$3 extra an hour.
I was like, I wish I had $3 extra an hour just to give you. I was like, I wish I had $500. I could just handle this for the summer. But yeah, that was, I guess that was like 14 years ago or something like that, where that was considered completely normal. And now maybe it would still be sort of normal, but I don't think you really see that anymore. Like even talking about Abercrombie, guys would stand outside in the mall, the shirtless guys, and they'd try and get you in maybe with like the spray or whatever, and girls would come by, take pictures with them. You don't really see that much anymore, right?
I mean, I don't notice it. I also haven't been to a mall in so long.
Same.
But no, I also just think that's just like taste, like, what the kids are into these days. You know what I mean? Like I feel like everybody's like, they're all so much more mature.
And you can also see that on TikTok too. Like you don't need to go to your local mall to see a handsome fellow or a girl in a bathing suit TikTok. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. So my friend, Jerry, like sometimes we'll just be sitting there on the couch watching sports, but like scrolling through like our own Instagrams because like we're degenerate losers. You know what I mean? And like, his like is full of
his algorithm?
His algorithm has like the girls where it's like wait for it or whatever, and then it's like they jump or whatever, and then all of a sudden it's just like them like jiggling their tits, and I'm like, fuck, they're probably millionaires, do you know? And I'm just like, why didn't I think of doing, like, why couldn't that have been my route? I really missed it.
Well, Jerry's got to chill with watching those videos. That's why they keep popping up. And it's so funny. You're like, why is this video popping up on my algorithm? And it's because, like, you know, you watch it or you like it. But what do you feel like there are a lot of people, I don't want to say talentless.
I also want to say, like, it's not like it's full of them, but, like, they definitely don't pop up on mine. And, like, every once in a while. Okay,
to be fair to Jerry, also, they'll pop up on mine sometimes, too. But in general, it's like, it seems like you can see a lot of, yeah, you see a lot of that. And it's like, I don't want to take away anything from any women or men that are doing this, but it's like you do a 7-second video with this type of music, and then you're on the beach or whatever, and then it's boom, like 10 million views or something, and then you get paid from that. So it's a lot different than it was before social media.
Yeah, like I could definitely do it too. Is that, you know what I mean? I don't know. Like I think.
Well, what's your idea of a post that you would post? Then what do you mean?
I feel like I could do it, right? I don't know if like I actually, like when it came down to it, I don't know if I'm brave enough to do it. You know what I mean? Just because I'm like,
okay, what would your video be though? Can we talk about?
I don't know, because it's
AI
it's better. I would be like, I would follow the template, I guess, of just like, I couldn't do it. Like I'm getting so uncomfortable.
Yeah, like your last 5 videos of your camera roll.
It's like, I don't know.
Yeah, it's weird. And to be honest, I don't know if I would want to theoretically date a girl like that.
Oh, well, I'm not judging.
No, but I'm saying that I understand.
For not being
but I understand what you're saying. There's a lot of skin on the internet these days. It's crazy.
I mean, I'm like, what am I doing? Like getting a cramp in my hand and like writing the same stupid sentence over and over and over, trying to get like the timing and like the words right for a dumb joke. And it's like, I could have just bounced. I could just learn how to bounce.
Well, you are polishing your craft by doing that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? How was family life growing up? Yeah, well, what do you mean? Just takes time. How was family life growing up?
It was chill. My parents are divorced, but best friends. Like
that's same with me too. And by the way, your last name, my grandpa who passed away, his name is Herman. Goes by Hank. So we've got 2 things in common now.
There it is.
Yeah, there it is. But anyway, you had brothers and sisters growing up?
Yeah, I have a younger sister. She's better than me.
What do you mean?
Always. She just is. You know what I mean? Like she, you know, she's like very like cool and funny and like pretty.
Did she go to like UNC Chapel Hill or something?
No, she went to CU Boulder, which is
let's go. All right. Yeah. Buffalo. For those of you who don't know. That was a good call.
Yeah. Now she's a scientist.
A scientist?
And she had a kid.
And a kid?
Yeah.
Wait, what kind of scientist is she?
Environmental.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah. Is she vegan?
No.
I'm vegan.
Oh.
Which is a good touch. But being an environmental scientist, do you know certain things that she focuses on? Or is it kind of a broad spectrum?
She was doing a lot of work with biofuel.
What's that?
I mean, this is more of a question for her, but yeah, like making fuel like, you know, renewable, basically, like trying to find ulterior ways to. So like she was putting like, I remember when she was in grad school, she like got a cow stomach and put beer hops in the cow stomach to like create ethane that would then like go. It was like, okay.
Yeah, what? What does she say is something that will help the environment? If there's something specific, is it like eating less meat, driving less cars?
She's probably going to say I'm wrong if I tell her what I said.
Yeah, I was going to ask if you've never spoken to her about this. I guess it's like not a topic that 2 sisters would talk about.
Oh, no, I mean, I ask her things all the time. I'm just like, off the top of my head, not being the expert, I'm like, what does she say about it?
Yeah.
What nerd paper did she write about that?
Well, people say, though, that the greenhouse gases from killing all these animals and having us eat it is a big part of global warming, right?
Yeah, I think
people do say that.
Yeah.
So you had a good relationship with your sister, though?
Yeah, we're like very tight.
Did your parents stay in Avon the whole time, or did they move?
No, my dad is in Litchfield County, and my mom moved to Denver when my sister went to college.
And high school was good for you?
Yeah, high school is chill. I feel, I mean, I guess I talked to my therapist now, and she's like, you were definitely bullied. And I was like, no, I'm pretty sure they wanted me to sing those songs in the cafeteria. You know what I mean? Like, pretty sure I was very popular. And
you were
like,
singing songs in the cafeteria because you were a theater kid.
And I thought that I was like...
Wait, that would be so mean.
And because my freshman year is the same year that I modeled for Abercrombie Kids. So I went from like being like this weird new kid and dressed weird to like being like very popular.
Why were you a new kid though?
Because I had gone to a different school. I had gone to like a different school system from.
Okay. It wasn't like you graduated 8th grade and then went to 9th grade with all the same middle school people. You went to a different school in the county, and that's because your parents got divorced.
I guess. Well, no, it's just because they didn't want to pay for a private school, so they moved.
Growing up in New York, when did you spend time in New York City though?
I mean, most of my like childhood, because I was doing like theater stuff and whatever, and like so I'd be down here, and then when I was in school, I'd be in Connecticut, but it was kind of like split. You
went to school though, or you would just spend a lot of time in the city taking theater classes, doing plays, or did you go to school here?
No, my school was in Connecticut, but then we had like other like homeschooling people.
What was your favorite? I was homeschooled for my freshman year in high school for tennis. But
that's cool.
Wait, but there were homeschool kids doing theater stuff?
Well, I'm only describing it as that. You know what I mean? It was like just like you and like your theater friends in school.
What was your favorite play?
What is my favorite play or what was?
Yeah, either way.
What's a favorite? I actually have never been asked that question. Well, that's not true.
You see that? We do our research over here at TEDJONESWORLD. You've never been asked that? Like your family didn't ask you?
No, I mean, they do, but now I'm like really, I don't know why I'm thinking about it so hard. Because like all the ones that are coming to my mind, I'm like, is that your favorite?
Okay, maybe Broadway play, favorite Broadway play that you've seen.
I very much liked, well, it depends on what kind. Like I thought, like In the Heights, when I first saw that, I was like, this is very cool. It felt like.
Was that a West Side Story kind of, or no?
No, it was like the first
Heights.
of like, it was a Lin-Manuel Miranda's first one.
Okay.
Yeah. And it was just unlike anything, you know what I mean? It was just very cool. And it wasn't like unlike, but it was like there was like a time in theater that I feel like where it was like Book of Mormon and like In the Heights, you know what I mean? Like, and all these like cool shows started coming out. Because you can only see Phantom so many times before you kill yourself.
Phantom of the Opera?
Yeah, but it is still like a really good show. It's a pretty, you know.
Did you ever see Cats?
Never.
The amount of times when I was in middle school that I saw the Cats commercial on TV, it must have been at least 10 times every day that I was watching TV. It was wild.
That was one that I somehow avoided. Like not like purposefully.
But don't you love cats? Don't you have a cat?
I have a cat. I do have a cat, but it was given to me as a birthday present when I didn't want a cat.
That's a crazy birthday present.
It is. We're not friends anymore. Not because of the cat, but other reasons.
That would be a starter, though. That would be a red flag if my friend got me a cat.
Definitely a red flag.
Now I have to take care of this thing. Did you express? Go ahead. What you say?
She only gave me a kitten in a bag, too. Like, no food, no... She just, like, came over and dropped off a kitten in a bag. A bag of responsibility.
A bag of kitten?
Yeah.
How did she find it?
In the desert. This is when I was in LA. It was a desert cat. She said she drove 2 hours into the desert to get this specific kitten for somebody who expressly, or I guess not, like, never wanted a cat. I don't know. It was really weird. But it was very cute. You know what I mean? Like, I did not want him at first, and I wasn't going to keep him. And I was like, you can't do this to me. And then after, like, you know, an hour. Oh, and then she lit the porch on fire because she went outside to, like, smoke a cigarette because she was, like, freaking out. And like didn't put it out all the way. And so my neighbor came over and was like, your porch is on fire. So I'm holding a kitten, the porch is on fire. And I was like, I don't know. I'll keep it, I guess. And now I love him. Now I'm obsessed.
How long has that been?
Been like, I mean, I think he's like 10.
Wow.
He's getting old. He's not though. He's still a little terrorist.
And you hang out with him. And how does a cat show you that he loves you? What are some of the things that a cat does?
Scotch is pretty, I mean, I think I raised him to be a dog. He's also like one of those breeds that's pretty like social and dog-like. So, but he's still an asshole. So.
He leaves the house or no? Someone's calling you. Is that what's an alarm? Oh, that's it on the background. Can I show them? You want to remove those notifications, or I can show them either way. It's 4:20, by the way. Everybody listening, spark up a doob. Here, look at this little kitty.
I couldn't get rid of the notifications.
It's okay. Very cute. I just didn't want to blow up your spot there. Very nice.
He's very cute.
That is cute. And you don't bring him outside though.
No, but he loves getting outside. I'll let him out sometimes. You know what I mean? Like because he's not like doing anything crazy. He's not going very far.
Yeah, I don't think in New York City, I mean, if I were to have remembered it would have been a long time ago. I don't think I've ever seen somebody walk their cat.
Oh my God. I definitely tried to. I tried to, and he literally rolls onto his side and he's just like, I'm so embarrassed. I hate you. He hates it so much. So that's hilarious. We gave up on that.
Yeah, I couldn't imagine seeing it.
I wanted it to happen so bad.
Apparently though, after one passes away in their apartment, if they're with the cat only waits like 2 days to start eating you.
That's what they say.
And then a dog waits like 2 weeks. Fast like 2 weeks.
Or like never. Like, you know what I mean?
Well, I think yeah, a little bit savage. Cats will I've heard that from like a mortician or somebody who goes and sees dead body, a coroner, maybe that's the correct word, but like a guy or a woman who has a cat, and then you just see the body that the cat's just been eating the person. You can't blame him. It was a circle of life, you know? Cat's hungry.
I think Scotch would do that. I do.
Would?
Yeah.
How long would he wait?
I don't know. Probably like at least like a little while. Here's the thing though. He's a very picky eater. I don't know if he'd like, you know what I mean?
You don't know if he'd like the taste of you?
Yeah, no. He like barely likes, you know, some of like the fancy stuff that I get him. So.
What do you feed him?
Let alone this toxic dump.
Do you feed him just regular cat food?
No, I feed him food because cat food grosses me out. So I get him the stuff that like in an emergency, like an extreme emergency, like you could probably like, you could suffer it. Like real tuna, real salmon, like that stuff. Chicken one looks like chicken, but it still weirds me out.
Well, I think, yeah. And also when you think of tuna fish, or when I think of tuna fish, it just reminds me of cat food.
Oh yeah. I mean, there's definitely times where like, I'm like, well, tuna's a little cheaper sometimes.
So how long have you lived in New York City since you moved from LA?
I came back here in 2017, I think. Somewhere on there. So what's that now? What are we in, 2024?
Yeah.
7 years.
But what was the reason that you moved from LA back to New York? Was there like a specific reason that you wanted to do more comedy, or you were just sick of the LA vibe? What was that?
I'd been going back and forth for a little while, and then they were like, you have to like pick a place. Like this is like
your agency said that? Uh-huh.
And so then I was like, it was winter, so I was like, all right, I'll stay in LA. And then I immediately regretted it. And then a bunch of LA friends were moving back to New York, and I was like, well, I'm not gonna, why would I be the only one here? And I was also like, again, like, you know, not the happiest, I think.
In LA.
Yeah.
It's interesting because there's so many people, obviously, who specifically love LA and say that they will never move. And then it's also on the other end, people say the same thing about New York. But I don't know if you see as many people unable to decide whether they like LA more or like New York more. Like they have a pretty strong opinion. Is that how you found with your friends or people you work with?
I mean, I guess so, but it's not something that we like discuss. Like I don't really have like, I'm not like, I hate, you know what I mean? I think they're extremely different, and I think it's weird to try to compare them. Do you know? Like they're both cities, but like they both have their pros and cons.
Yeah, IMO, like when I've been out there, I just think it's too slow.
Just LA has a lot more cons is like the only.
Oh, you think so?
No.
But you said it, but I was thinking it. I just think it's the amount of effort that you need to put in to do something in LA. You know, like people don't think it's that much effort, but people will make an entire event out of doing something that in New York would take 2 seconds. You know what I mean? If I'm like, I'm biting my nails too much, I need Band-Aids. It would take me 5 minutes to walk to the nearest convenience store or CVS, pick up the Band-Aids and come home. In LA, that's a 20-minute trip there. Maybe while I'm at CVS, I'll pick out some other things, and then it's another 20. That's an hour. Easy. When in New York, I can go outside, I can get coffee, CVS, and that takes 10 minutes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The pace in New York is quick. And I love I initially when it happens, I don't like it. And I think that goes without saying for all New Yorkers, but I do like the seasons. Once I get a little bit used to it, like the weather today, it's perfect.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You wear a shirt, a sweatshirt, and a layer over it, and maybe a jacket, and you feel amazing.
I feel like we've gotten a real winter this year.
We have gotten one?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think we haven't gotten as much snow within like the past 2 or 3 years. But yeah, we've definitely had like a week where it was unbearable.
Yeah. Like I am like relative to recent past years, I'm saying, I guess. Because yeah, like the last time we had like a real blizzard, like a snowed in blizzard.
It's been a few years.
Yeah, it's been a while. Like I miss that, like when you can't, like you don't have to prep.
Where everything is closed. And the heat in your apartment still works. Do I have a puzzle?
Oh, like just those are the
you're a puzzle person? My sisters love
yeah.
puzzles. It's too hard for me, some of them.
I love like a snowed in puzzle.
How many pieces do you do in the puzzle?
I mean, I've done a 3,000. It was massive. But
Where
normally,
do you even put it?
I would say 1,000 to 1,500 is like the happy easy.
Where do you even start and put that puzzle? Like
you have to get like a big like piece of cardboard, you know,
Yeah.
and then it just like kind of moves.
A sad thing that I've noticed about people who love puzzles, it's like, what do you do with it when you're done?
Yeah, you just break it apart.
Yeah.
Feels kind of meaningless.
I
But I like that.
It's like life.
Yeah.
It's kind of me. You try your best, you focus, takes you forever to do it. Maybe along the way, a person or two will help you. But then when you're done, whatever, people forget about it and then you never remember it.
It just like helps minimize any of my expectations for myself.
Well, I've thought that people should frame puzzles when they're done with it. It would just be very difficult, I would think, to frame because if you
they have like special glue for like that you.
More people should do that, guys. So if you're into puzzles like Kate is, I think you should frame your puzzles, especially if you do a 3,000 piece puzzle. How long does that take?
That one took like a while, and there were a few of us working on it.
Like how long?
I think we did it I think it was like at least like a couple weeks, and we had like it was just like what we would do in the winter when we had like real winters. It was like we'd come back and like go to like my friend Sam's apartment and like drink wine and like watch whatever and like do puzzle. Like we were just like going to do puzzle, and because it becomes like very addictive.
Wait, is that how you say it? Do puzzle or do puzzles?
We would just like we made it into like
pro.
We did it like as an activity, you know.
No, I know, but is it plural when you say like do puzzle or do puzzles?
No, it was like because it was just like that one specific one. It's like what are you gonna do tonight when it's a puzzle?
It's like geese and goose. So yeah, it's one specific puzzle.
Yeah.
Nice.
Just like that was like the activity. What are you gonna do tonight? Puzzle.
What other fun things do you do outside of modeling and comedy? You still go to plays? Like, did you see Hamilton, Lin-Manuel Miranda's other play? Oh, you didn't like it as much as
I loved Hamilton, but I saw it, with the original cast.
I saw it without him, and I still thought it was okay, but I really wish I saw it with him.
Yeah,
that was one of the only Broadway plays I've ever seen. Or I really liked Lion King. I thought
Lion King's a good time.
Yeah,
Lion King's a good time.
Why are you giggling? You don't think it's that good of a time?
Well, no, it's just like...
And I want to see Aladdin. That one looks good. But I don't know. I'm not such a play person. I haven't seen Wicked. People say I need to see Wicked. Or you know what I saw? What's that one? Dear Evan Hansen. You ever see that? That was aight. The kid was aight. And it wasn't the main kid. I'm going to all these freaking plays and I'm getting shafted. I'm not getting the main audience. Which I can imagine. Like these people, how many shows do they put, like the characters? Are they doing like 10 shows a week?
I think it's 8. Did
you ever want to do Broadway theater or still?
Yeah, like when I was a kid, that was like the whole thing. And then now I don't have the same voice.
Why?
Well, because I started smoking,
Smoking what though?
Well,
cigarettes
and weed. But like, the cigarette thing, I was like, I guess I'll, that was a bad decision.
Did you ever switch from cigarette, or I think I've seen you a couple of times, but when did you switch from cigarettes to vape?
That it was like, I think it was 20, like when the Juul first came out, like you could only get it online.
Oh, we were talking about this online.
Yeah, you had to like order it online and
stop.
Yeah,
like Juul.com. And when you ordered it online, though, you had the stick, and then how many pods did you order?
You would just like, I would get shipments of like, you know.
Wait, the
like
mint ones, tobacco.
I was always
mango.
tobacco. And I think I did like mango for like a little bit, but I mostly just like always did the tobacco ones. But yeah, I mean, look, I was at the point where I was like, I don't want to smoke cigarettes anymore. It's the most irrational decision I've ever made. And I guess I'll just die from it because I can't stop smoking. It was crazy. I was like, oh well. And then I got addicted to the Juul instead. But I watched the Juul propaganda documentary, and turns out it's good for you. So there, I'm gonna live forever.
Isn't it crazy how their whole business model was like anti big tobacco, and we hate big tobacco. Big tobacco is gonna die. The Juul forever. And then they sold a big stake to Philip Morris, which makes cigarettes. Do you know that?
Yeah.
Being in the modeling industry,
they didn't put that in the documentary.
Well, the document, I think I did see a Juul documentary recently that was talking about, that was like shitting on Juul. But being in the industry that you were in, it was like cool to smoke cigarettes, right? Oh, there you go. There you go.
Well,
we're zoomed in on me right now because I don't know if we're gonna get in trouble for that. But the industry, like the modeling industry, everyone was smoking cigarettes. Are people still smoking as many cigarettes or what? I remember like outside the clubs in New York, it was like One Oak had the smoking room. It was like
I feel like most people I was around smoked cigarettes or like smoked when they drank, you know, or like whatever.
Yeah, the old smoking while drinking.
Yeah. I feel like, you know, now it's just kind of like phased out. People are pretty health conscious, but I still know a lot of people that smoke. But I think for the most part, people don't anymore.
Yeah. And it's just now the vapes are so socially acceptable. It's wild. Like you'll just smell all of a sudden a huge cloud of cotton candy and you're like, oh, okay, I guess that's a vape, which is insane. Because it's like, it's so much more acceptable and like pleasurable for the people around you that people don't mind it as much. But have you noticed anything in like your physical health, like walking up the stairs, if smoking cigarettes was better? Like, was it easier to walk up the stairs when you were smoking cigarettes or easier when you're smoking the Juul? Do you notice things like that or no?
Yeah, I mean, I think that I'm substantially better off not smoking cigarettes. I don't know if like I would probably be even better off not smoking a Juul either. I also like don't love like the optics. You know what I mean? Like it's still like one of those things. Like I don't know, I'll just be sitting there like watching things on my phone, like sucking at it, and just like, what are you doing? You know what I mean? Like what are you like? You look.
Well, you know what? Everyone does it though.
But you know what it is? It's like there was this intervention once. Did you ever watch that show Intervention?
Yes.
So there was this one, and her name was like Ashley or something. Anyway, she was addicted to the computer dust cleaner. Do you remember that one? And it would be like Sarah, and she'd be like, I'm Sarah, whatever.
She changed her name. She went from Ashley to Sarah.
Well, I can't remember what it was, and I figured I like when you say it, because we used to like say it all the time.
Yeah, I'm like, Ashley.
Yeah, and I'm like now, like when I'm like, oh my God, I've become her. Like whenever I was like sitting there, like sucking. You know what?
I'll give you this one. I think the Juul probably is better than the computer cleaner, but
I mean, she was that shit takes a toll on you, it turns out.
But now, can you buy Juuls still? Aren't they illegal? What was that whole lawsuit?
No, it's because they were going to ban abortion. So they put out the whole like Juul thing out so that people would, they're like, oh, I know, we'll just distract them with Juuls.
Oh man, that's how it is.
And so then when the whole like banning abortion thing comes out, they won't care.
That was like, I remember in high school with the Accutane, it became like kind of pretty popular. Do you ever hear of Accutane?
Yeah.
And on the packaging of the Accutane, I took it twice. For those of you who don't know, I'm pretty sure I've talked about it on the pod, but I had cystic acne. We're talking boils on the face. And on the Accutane package, it would show you like if you got pregnant, your baby would basically like have a deformed head and be some sort of autistic or whatever it was. So I don't know why I brought that up.
What was it doing? What was it? I mean, obviously, it had good, but like, what was it doing to your body that it made it work? That also causes.
Like the baby deformities, it dries up everything in your body. Yeah. So like your lips, like I remember I was playing a lot of tennis at the time. I couldn't hold a racket because I would have holes in my hand, my feet, anywhere that had some sort of more sensitive or softer skin. It was just like peeling. Like some of my eyebrows are peeling. Some like my earlobes. It was wild. I mean, it's a miracle drug and people nowadays still take it because it really does work. I mean, I took it 2 times, 2 6-month intervals, like a year and a half apart. But I don't know. That's actually a good question. But I imagine it's just like your body is trying to figure out what's going on in it, that it just wouldn't make sense to have a child at that particular point.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Priorities.
Yeah. Don't mean to get personal, but do you want a kid at any point?
No, I'm good.
You're good?
Yeah.
Is there a specific reason? Did you at any point in time want one or no? No,
I'm very squeamish. Like I pass out very easily from everything, and I just don't like when my friends are pregnant. Like I'm very happy for them, whatever. But like then they tell me about things that are happening like in their bodies, and I'm like, nah, I'm good on that. Like it freaks me out to like I don't know. Like I don't have a desire.
Well, what happens if you didn't have the pregnancy thing and you had like an
like jumped like that? Well, like the pregnancy, like getting it out of you part is like
makes you squeamish,
horrifying to me. Like just kill me. You know what I mean? Like, so yeah, like, and then I'm good. Like I like the cat, you know what I mean? Like I did the cat.
You don't have to explain yourself too much. I get it. And a lot of people don't want kids, but what's something that you say, you pass out? What's something that you've passed out from that would be like, other people would be like, what? Why'd you pass out from that?
So, during COVID, when the vaccines came out, I went to the Javits Center to get my vaccine. And
so you were like one of the first, maybe.
I definitely like jumped the line. Remember you had to like, there was like a whole line and stuff. And I was like, no, I want it now because I was so sick of like I was just done. Yeah.
You like ready to get outside.
Yeah. And then I had like some of my stupid friends that'd be like, oh, it's I was shut up. And I was like, you have to do it. Like everybody has to do it. Like we're opening the city. Like I'm done, you know? And so, but I went and I saw that, you know, it's just like all cement everywhere. And so I was like, I should probably tell you, like I pass out when I get shots.
You told the person who's about to jab you?
I told them like when I checked
Center.
in. Well, because I was like, I didn't want to like pass out and then have like a video go viral and then they'd be like, oh yeah, see the vaccine kills you, you know, or whatever. So, but what they did is like they brought you into like what I called Club Javits. And it was like a white tent with like a bed. Yeah. And you got your own EMT and then they stab you with a thing and then you feel really stupid for, you know, having to be such a big production. But also
at the time we thought it was great, but yeah.
Also like, yeah, like I got the second time I went, I almost passed out because it was like a new nurse or something. Like literally they said it's her first time. And I was like, why'd I have to hear that?
Yeah. What? Too much
and then she went so slow that I was like, well, game over. If I get blood drawn though, I always, no matter what, even like when I think I can be an adult and like really focus and whatever, like I just.
Well, needles I think are tough though for a lot of people, even myself. Yeah. Nobody likes needles.
I one time almost made myself pass out at the sports bar that I go to during a very crowded football game, and I turned to my friend Celia and I was like, yeah, I need you to like help me right now because I was about to go down because I was reading. It was like when I had allergies, but only one of my like nostrils was running, and I was like, that's got to be because of something. And then the first thing that popped up, and this like I don't know why I do this like during like this is my ADD or whatever. Like I'm just like I'm watching a football game, but I'm like, I wonder what this is. And then the first thing that came up was a spinal fluid leak or something. And then I started reading about what that was, and like
at the bar you were doing this.
Yeah, and I did this all. This is why I need a chaperone for all things. Like, why was I allowed? Like, why did I allow myself to? Because then I knew, and like, I just, in like my brain, it's like psychosomatic, you know? So I'm like, I just like started thinking about like spinal fluid, like I don't know. And like, I literally, like, I'm starting to get like woozy now, even just like thinking about it.
We don't have to discuss it any further. Kate, this has been a great episode. Thank you for being an open book. We really appreciate it. Before we get out of here, we're going to pop up your Instagram. Let us know where we can find you. And if you've got anything exciting on the comedy front, podcast front, modeling front, whatever, go ahead. Plug yourself, please.
You can find me on Instagram at Scotch the Cat, because I didn't know it was going to be an important professional tool when I got it. The cat's cute. So yeah, you can find me there. I post shows. I'm doing a bunch of shows, the next coming months.
Love it.
I'm getting better at, I should say I'm getting better at posting my shows. Mm-hmm. It's a goal. And yeah, and I guess my sports podcast starts again on Tuesdays. So,
which is called?
It used to be called Unforced Errors, but they had changed it now. I don't know what they're calling it now.
I'm
still going to call it Unforced Errors.
I love it. Unforced error is a big term in tennis. I'm not sure if you're familiar.
I do. Yeah. I adapted it for ours.
Love it. Well, we love to see it. Kate, thanks so much for coming on the pod.
Thank you, Ted.
Guys, thanks so much for tuning in. We'll see you next time. Peace.